What is up, everybody? There is something strange going on in YouTube. A bunch of vegans and ex-vegans are hopping onto a carnivore meat-based diet, and I want to talk about why that makes a little bit more sense than it seems. Hey guys, welcome to Fontanalis. This channel is about improving the way we think about the world, and I thought that this was a fascinating issue. And I'm going to go into two basic reasons why carnivore and vegan are more alike than you probably think. And then I'm going to go a little bit into some of the reasons specifically that people are switching from veganism to carnivore. The first similarity between veganism and carnivory is pretty obvious. They're both extremes. But what is interesting is what this tells us about who would choose to partake in these diets. So the draw of these two diets is they both appeal to people who are desperate for improving their health. Many of the people who go vegan and the people who go carnivore are doing so not because they have a desire to cut these out, but because they've been told that these diets will help their unhelpable issues. So many people these days go to the doctor and they go through rounds and rounds of diagnosis and treatment that don't get anywhere, and they end up turning to diet as an alternative. It makes sense to think that the modern diet, which is so disconnected from the earth, which is so disconnected from our path, would be giving us health issues, right? The problem is, of course, determining exactly what it is in the modern diet, or what deficiencies we have in the modern diet that are causing our issues. And of course, both of these diets have proponents who say that it worked for them, that it was their miracle cure. I'm not going to comment on my opinion of this. I think that it's definitely valid in some cases. But the core of the issue is that that appeal is there, that those arguments, that those anecdotes are there to draw people in. Okay, the second similarity is probably going to get some vegans who watch this angry with me. But both diets are whole food diets. But why are whole foods important? So this is something I'm going to make a video on, but I'll just touch on it briefly here. When you're eating a whole food, you are eating cells. This is my definition of food. A food is either cellular material or something like an egg or a seed, which is designed to be incorporated into cells at a later point. So both the muscles and organs and bodily tissues of animals, as well as the functional tissues of plants, constitute whole cellular foods. But we still have to explain why the flow seems to be going from vegan to carnivore and not the other way around. So the first reason for this is that the vegan diet is being oversold. The vegan diet is at its core an ethical argument and an ethical movement. And as such, people have an emotional connection to it. Basically, there's more confirmation bias going into the vegan diet, right? Nobody is sitting there thinking, I wish more animals would die. But a lot of people wish that animals didn't have to die at all for our food. So the people who are pushing what they feel to be ethically correct and morally sound are going to have more reason to believe that their diet is doing more for them than it actually is. And of course, for the people who have joined veganism because they've heard of its amazing, outlandish health benefits, they're going to be disappointed and disillusioned after a while, because not because the vegan diet is in some way terrible for you necessarily, but because the vegan diet is not as good as it has been propped up to be. And the second reason that people are switching from vegan to carnivore is that, unfortunately, if you're going to subsist off of cells, you want them to be as similar to your own cells as possible. Meaning, if you're eating a plant, it has many of the same organelles and cellular components of your own human cells, but they're not all the same. Whereas if you're eating a mammal, we pretty much all need the same vitamins, the same minerals, the same fatty acids and amino acids in the same concentrations as any other mammal. Ergo, if you're eating a mammal's cells and you're eating a mammal's tissues and organs, you are getting more of what your body needs compared to the tissues of an organism that we split away from 1.5 billion years ago. Okay, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you want to see more of my musings on keto, carnivory, veganism, go ahead and subscribe. And check out my series on protein as a micronutrient, which I will link to somewhere.